I've just been stripping down this one here. As you can see, this is a DANSETTE Major Deluxe. This was covered in, obviously, this green Rexine, and all around the sides it lost its pattern. It's got some sort of pattern on it, as you can see. It looked very bland, so what I've decided to do with this one is to actually recover it. I mean, initially, as I say, all you've got to do basically is just get all the old Rexine off, and after you've done that, and then give it a sand down to, because this will still be covered with old glue, so then give it a good sand down. But as you can see, I've not actually wet this one down, so this is actually coming off dry. Normally a little bit of a nuisance to start off, but you get a blade under a corner, for example, and you can normally get an edge up and bring it down. Comes off pretty easy. Right, so there we go. That's all the green Rexine off of this one. Still got the cream stuff on there, but looking at it, I think I'm going to need to actually strip this off as well. I think because I've got some nice red or blue Rexine, which I may do this in. I'm not going to keep it green because I haven't got any green, so I'm going to actually remove this. But as you can see here, for example, look. I mean, look at this lid, for example. Here, this whole unit isn't done in one piece. I mean, for example, this lid here, they've just cut around and put a little segment in there like that. The front panel looks like it's all in one piece there, as you can see underneath there. Look. So this varies. I've seen different DANSETTEs, for example, done different ways. So they obviously all had their own independent ways of doing their recovering. This one's got a seam here, for example. Look, I've just picked that up. I mean, I've just lifted that up now because I washed all this down beforehand, and that glue now, as I say, is sticky. So technically speaking, I mean, I can feel it sticking on my fingers like that. So if I was to wet all this down, definitely with a steam cleaner, this would come off very, very easily. But it's got to be sanded down anyway, so that's why I'm doing it this way. So I'm going to take this off. I've made my mind up. Right, here we go, they're totally stripped. With some of these stubborn bits that was on there, I had to get the water on it just to soften off the glue underneath, so I just went over it with a sponge. And also what I did as well, to take all the residual glue off of here, I dabbed that down, as I say, with a sponge, let it soak in for a couple of minutes, and then just took a blade and then just drew the blade across the whole length of the replica out on all sides, and top and bottom obviously. And that removes all the gunky glue that's sticky on there, because when you touch these, the glue is obviously all very sticky still. So that's what I did there. There is a line already carved in to the actual unit, and also on the head as well. So obviously there's the line to go to for the white or creamy colour stuff at the front there. So that will be on there obviously. Let's have a go at recovering it. And what I've actually got, I've got this, it's actual vinyl cloth, it's not actual Rexine. So if you want to have a go with vinyl cloth, I'm going to try this one with vinyl cloth. Now, it's not very thick, but it has got some sort of cloth backing. So the glue we're going to use with this, I was toying with the idea of a PVA adhesive, but because of the vinyl backing, I don't know whether to go with a contact adhesive, so I'm not too sure yet. I'm going to work that out. So as you probably know, with the Major we've got here, the front piece of this is going to be obviously in the white covering, the leather cloth. So what I've actually done is I've just placed that on to the whole sheet of the vinyl cloth. All I'm looking at is getting one complete piece from underneath right round to the top, so that all this is in one basic unit. So as a result of that, what I've actually done, I've marked out and cut along there, and I've also just got to cut along this line here, which will take me up to this underneath line there, just beyond it, so I've got a little bit of spare to play about with. So as you can see, all we're basically left with is what's possibly going to be our front cover, and it is in this lovely white vinyl cloth basically. It has got a little bit of give in it, not a lot but a little bit of give, so I'm hoping that will help when it comes to probably going around the corners, whereas a normal Rexine is actually very solid. So one thing I've been told that you've got to watch out when using this type of cloth is that your hinges and your catches can sometimes not fit properly, so you don't want to be doubling up too often, so you have to sort of take that into consideration. Right, so all I've done here is just apply some contact adhesive on the corners of the actual unit, and I'm just applying some contact adhesive to a thin strip of the actual vinyl cloth. Just spread it about a bit, making sure I get it on all parts of the vinyl cloth, and all I'm going to do is basically let that go off for a few minutes. As you can see, that's all I've done there, and I'm just going to snip this off to length and then just gently insert it into the corners. Right, okay, so I've basically just inserted the little bits I've cut off, as you can probably see, into the corners, and it does pull quite nicely, but as you can see I'm left with these little raised surfaces there. So all I'm going to do with a sharp blade here, for example, is just literally cut round the edge. So we're left with that. There we go. So all four corners are basically trimmed, but internally, as you can probably see, they've got a white covering there, so I'm okay with that. Right, so basically all I've done there is just put a few relief cuts in, and now all I've got to do is just trim up and glue down, and let's see where we are with that. Right, well here we go. I've finished the front section. Let's just turn it up and show you. There's the underneath, and as you can see I've gone around the sides just like the original. So I'm hoping that we're going to get a good finish on that, so it doesn't look too bad. So I'm just going to carry on now and finish doing this. Right, as you can see now, I've done the front bit now and nearly finished the top. I've just got to put a panel in down the sides there. But as you can probably see, this is quite thick, this stuff. I mean, let's show you the thickness of that there. I mean, this is what you call leather cloth, basically, and it's actually quite thick. So it's not the ideal material to cover. And the places where you get problems is where you go, your overlaps stick out, the cut edge sort of sticks out. It's a pretty nice job, and it's going to look okay when it's done, but really Rexine is a lot thinner. It's like paper. So this stuff is okay. It causes you more aggro than anything, because compact impact adhesive I've been using with this, it sticks it down a tree, it goes off lovely once you let it go tacky. But realistically I'm looking at possibly using, as I say, some sort of thinner material So I mean, if you're going to have a go at doing these, I mean, and you've seen leather cloth for sale with like a fibre backing, it does give a little bit. It's like stretchy a little bit, so it's not the ideal material. Rexine had no giving it whatsoever. And also, as I say, for the overlaps you're going to do, which you're going to inevitably get, you know, the Rexine won't show as much as what these basically do. But I'll show you the finished result when I finished it anyway. Right, with the lid, I'm going to try. I've got some normal Rexine here, as you can see. Look, it's a lot thinner, like paper. So I'm going to go with the red on this, and I'm just going to try this only because I wanted to see what it went like as opposed to having the actual vinyl cloth. So I've cut a piece out for doing the lid. I've basically allowed for an overlap to go round the sides. I'll just tuck it under, and I've allowed it to go down the back as well. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with the corners on this yet, so we're going to play it by ear. But first of all, I'm going to, rather than use the impact adhesive, I'm going to probably use this PVA glue. So I'm going to apply it with a sponge to the complete covering, and let's see how we go with that. Right, here we go. I've just finished the lid off now. If you're going to recover a record player, don't do it with the leatherette or vinyl cloth. It has to be the paper thin stuff, like this. Well, like this is Rexine paper cloth, I think this is called. Very thin that you can actually rip it. Well, so you can rip it. There you go. I've just ripped it with my hand, look. So that's how thin that stuff is, but it's got a nice durable finish on it. It's a waterproof finish, and you have no problems in the recovering. Well, I'm going to finish this off now. You'll see the whole completed finished result in the next video. Well, here we go. She's all back together now. I didn't bother putting anything around there, to be honest with you. I don't think it was really worth it. I've put the original clips back on. They've got original tarnishing, which I don't mind that, to be honest with you. I didn't really need it to look absolutely brand new, because at the end of the day it's still got some age-related marks with it. So as you can probably see there, the original handles on the old Rexine went on very well indeed. There's the gold strip I was telling you about, or the brass strip. The grill has turned out okay. I found a new couple of knobs to, well, not new, I mean I found a couple of knobs to go on it, so that's fine as well. If we lift the unit up, as you can see there, it's got the I finished off all the inside, obviously. I left the old original Rexine on the inside of the lid there, and also on the actual record deck as well, for some sort of authenticity, because I wanted to retain obviously the original label that was on there as well. But all in all, it's actually come out not too bad indeed. So I've just queued up a single. Again, I can't play it for too long because of copyright, they normally stop you at the YouTube. So we're on the LP, so just press the auto start that way, and it doesn't sound too bad whatsoever. Yeah, there we go, that's Julie London there, and I'm coming back to you. I can't play that for too long because the last time I did that, YouTube pulled up that I was playing a copyrighted record basically, so I'll just have to eject that now. After all, I don't want my videos pulled down. But yeah, all in all, it's turned out not too bad. You don't see any of the joints whatsoever with regards to overlaps compared to this white vinyl cloth stuff, as you can see there. But although that's pulled nice and tight at the end of the day, and as you can see, it's actually finished it off quite nicely. I put the original DANSETTE badge back on, so everything else is as it was original. It's got a UA8 BSR deck in it, which I've fully lubricated as well. All the electrical components have obviously been rechanged as well, the ones that needed changing obviously. And as you can see right around the back there, nice and smart. So yeah, I'm very pleased with the way this turned out. I mean, when I first got this, as you probably remember, it was green, and there's a picture of it before I actually started the restoration. So as you can see, it looks totally different now, and actually I prefer these colours, to be honest with you. It's more of the original look that you associate with these machines. This is probably late 50s, this one, I would say. But as I say, when I got it, it was when you turned it on, it had a very, very loud hum to it. And although they all do hum anyway, not in smelling hum, although they all do give off some sort of hum. But yeah, I mean, someone's going to get this and they're going to be able to relive their old records, old memories by playing their old records. As you can see, the grill was gold when I got hold of it as well, but I did actually just give it another coat of gold paint. But lucky enough, there's no breaks in it whatsoever. And I'm very pleased, as I say. The leather cloth on the front, which I've used, as I say, that has come out very nice. But I didn't want to do the whole lot in the leather cloth, purely for the fact that you do get sort of quite large overlays, as you can probably see there, although it's not really a problem on just this front section. The rest of it is actually laid down very, very nicely indeed, the old Rexine there. So someone's going to get a very nice machine here which they can use and love and cherish, and as I say, play their old records on and remember what music used to sound like back in the 60s and the 50s, being played on one of these when they was a teenager in their bedroom or whatever. So yeah, there you go. Hope you've enjoyed this little series on this little Dansette Major Deluxe, and I'll see you again in a future video. Thanks very much and see you later.